right, good evening. How is everyone doing? We're going to talk about the process of discipline and discipline. Because what we are running into is that a lot of people who are in leadership position don't understand how to discipline people who have been caught at fault, who have went against who they are or went against them uh, in ways or in life, ministry, or even a relationship. Uh, because we have to understand that sometimes things just gonna happen, and we can't allow the things that happen to prevent us from following. We forget who we are. All right, the internet have went down. I guess it's back up. It's showing now. But anyway, we got to learn how to treat people who make mistakes. Because when we understand the work that Christ did on the cross, we can't just hold people to be our mortal enemies or we stay mad every time we see them. And this is what we're going to deal with over in 2 Corinthians chapter 2. And this is Paul. He's still challenging the Corinthian church. Uh, because the Corinthians was waiting on Paul, and Paul changed his trip. And oftentimes, we got to understand that God foresees things a lot of time before we even realize what's going on. So if we who are believers in God, we can't let people make us feel sorry, make us feel like we don't want them, make them feel like we made a mistake because we chose God over plans that we hate. So here we go into 2 Corinthians and we look at how Paul dealt with wayward Christians. It says, but I determined this within myself, that I will not come again to you in sorrow. For if I make you sorrowful, then who is he who makes me glad? But the one who is made sorrowful by me. So what happens, Paul was kind of continuing his thought from chapter 1. He's still trying to defend himself against the Corinthians Christian. And see, a lot of times, as long as we in ministry, we're going to have to defend ourselves against church folks. See, Paul had to change his time when he uh, was going to see the Corinthians again. And because of this change, the reason he had to write this letter is they thought him to be unreliable and untrustworthy. And then that they say we don't need to listen to him. See what happened? See, I see that now. You know how many people that don't listen to me anymore because my plans didn't match their plans? I didn't do what they seen me doing. So now what I preach or teach is of value to them because I really was no value to them. See, you got to watch how people move, not when everything's going right, but you got to look how they move when things go wrong. See, do y'all notice how I'm the best teacher in the world? I'm the ain't nobody like Brother Hubbard. But the minute I don't move to their mouth, they disappear. Now when the live come on, they done already blocked me. They done unfollowed me. They see it come on now. When they used to listen with enthusiasm, now it's just who cares? That's why I tell you I don't trust people. They move by their emotions. That's why it said if you walk in the spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Because if you are really being spiritually fed, like most of you who try to give me accolades and exhortation, if you were really getting fed in the spirit, why now you don't need feeding? Yeah, and listen here. All preaching is a game. You just got to find the one who want to play the game right. You don't want to be around the people who only play the game that benefits them. So what Paul was saying, he said, I don't want to come to you again in sorrow. I don't want to come to you in rebuke. I don't want to come to you in correction. Because for me to continue to do that, then how would you see God in me? See, when the people who still listening to my life, the same assignment that you got now, that's the assignment that Paul was looking for. That's the assignment that you should have, whether you're being corrected, rebuked, challenged, or just being taught something different. But when you come to a place that you're now sorrowful to hear my voice, to see what I'm teaching, that's proof in enough to you. You wasn't in it for God. You was in it to see what God can give you. So what Paul did, instead of making a second visit to be sorrowful, he wrote a letter. That's why we're getting to verse 3. And it said, I wrote this very thing to you, lest when I came, I should have sorrow over those from whom I ought to have joy. Having confidence in you all, that my joy is the joy of you all. For out of much affliction and anguish of heart, I wrote to you with many tears, not that you should be grieved, but you might know the love which I have so abundantly for you. See, Paul understood that if things wouldn't have changed by the time he got there, he said, let me write these letters and see what they mind is. See, Paul didn't want to have to come keep correcting them. He said, I hope y'all didn't change. See, people think I take joy in teaching and preaching on some of the things that I teach on, but I don't. So here we have to understand Paul. Paul got affliction and anguish over the people. He didn't want to grieve the people. But this is what we should understand. As a leader, we want certain people to change. We want you to do better. So we constantly cheering for you even when you don't know. But understand this. What about the affliction and the anguish of heart that oftentimes we carry in our own life? over our own ministry. So watch this. As a leader, you got the affliction and anguish of the people that God has sent to you. You got your own life and you got a ministry life. That's a heavy burden to carry. Heavy burden to carry. And and I'm trying to get y'all to understand certain parts of ministry because people think that these revelations just come. People think that I'm just cheerful all the time. People think I don't have no emotions, no heartbeat, no that I don't care or I don't feel pity. And that's far from the truth. That's probably why Brother Hubbard don't that's probably why I know that's one of the reasons why I ain't even married. Because watch this. If I won't marry again, that woman has to understand he got people, he got himself, and he got his ministry. I ain't got time for no woman to sit around here and tell me you ain't told me I love you today. Pump that mess. To me, if you got to hear it all the time, go get a tape recorder. I'm gonna say it one time. If you want to hear it, press the tape recorder. Because people don't understand when you in ministry, that means you got to deny your happiness to a point because you're doing the work of Christ. Even in the Garden of Gethsemane, Christ didn't want to go through with it, but he stopped, he prayed, and he said, God, let your will be done. Do you think I like traveling all the time? Sometimes I do. Do you know I'm not most comfortable just sitting there laying in the air, watching TV, then wonder what I'm gonna go eat? Let's take me for the day. I got up, did a video, I just laid in bed watching TV. Then they said, hey, let's go to the grocery store. I was downstairs. I had went downstairs to watch TV with them. I was finna eat me a bowl of my cereal. And I said, okay, but I left all my wallet and stuff at home, so I couldn't get what I wanted. But I just went. I came in the house, helped bring the groceries in, laid down, watching TV. I seen the little Jamaican spot on the way to the grocery store. I said, let me go try that Jamaican. It was excellent. I'll be back. I came back in the house. I did another video. I watched TV. You see how simple and uncomplicated my life is. I keep looking at the trailer. I said, I need to wash all that stuff off that trailer. All that stuff from travel, them bugs to get on. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. But boy, this ain't no this like that Omaha heat down here. So, and then the air really ain't blowing too good in the room. And I keep forgetting to go buy me a fan. I think I'm gonna get me one in the morning though. But watch this. See how uncomplicated my life is? That's that peace that surpasses other understanding. Because I don't have people putting unnecessary demands on them based on what they want, what they need. Because you got to know that ministry actually is a 24-hour job, but you got to allow the Holy Spirit to lead you into your rest and what you need to do. And see, for a lot of us, you don't know what it takes as we pray for some of you. And then when you call and ask the question, you notice how I immediately have the answer? That's because laboring before God. See, I don't be watching TV. I be talking to God. The TV is just background now. But how can I get that peace? But every move I make, something, it's no peace. See, a lot of people, you got to be more spiritually discerning than emotionally discerned because certain things you do, it affects how we process our peace. Watch this. I have never been this high in a room, in a room in over 20 years. But you know why I ain't bothered? Because I still feel the peace. Now, I'm gonna go over there and check and see if I put that air filter in right, but that shouldn't have nothing to do with it. I think it needs servicing because when I go out in the hall, it's cold, but in a room, maybe because the sun said it. Who knows? But watch this. You got to know that it's anguish, that is grief, that is spiritually tiring to spiritually look over people. Verse 5, but if anyone has caused grief, he has not grieved me, but all of you to some extent. Not to be too severe, the punishment which was inflicted by the majority is sufficient for such a man, so that on the contrary, you are rather to forgive and comfort him, lest perhaps such a one be swallowed up with too much sorrow. You know, that's why I like to tell people, even when I'm doing these videos, I'm not mad at nobody for what they did to me. It don't cost me grief because when I sit down and I look at the spiritual aspects of my life versus the natural aspect of my life, and then I go to God and weigh the consequences of being around people who I've been around. If the plumb line doesn't swing toward any kind of spiritual enrichment, spiritual fulfillment, I didn't lose nothing but time. Time to figure out I shouldn't have been here. I shouldn't have been there. I, if it took me 9 years to find it out, it took me 9 years to find out. Because a lot of people can say, Lord, Lord, but don't too many people can show it. See, the weight of the assignment on my life, I can't sit around nobody who can't show power in God. I don't care about your word. I don't care about your degrees. I don't care about your position. If you can't show me power, I don't need you around me because what I won't be is a spiritual leech, which means I won't let nobody around me trying to find out who they are. You got to know who you are when you come around me and see. I ain't got time to teach you the ABCs of ministry. So here, Paul was talking about a brother who had sinned. It's a lot of people that I have encountered over the years, and for whatever reason, I had to do them how God told me to do them. Now, if they come around, if they come around, and and the only reason they're gonna come around if God tells me they come. See, I got to listen to God, and this was what Paul is trying to get them to understand. Just because you may know something about somebody Just because somebody may have seen, did, or said something that's not God-like, you can't hold them accountable to that mistake or mistakes that you see them make. You got to understand God is in the restoration business. See, you can treat a person so bad because what you know about them that the sorrow will be too much for them. See, that's why Paul says you ought to rather forgive and comfort him. So watch this. If certain people that we have dealt with, mainly me, and God told me to cut them off, if they come around, the only reason they come around if God says they sorry. If they come around and say they sorry. But this the kicker because God know who I am. Don't come around me with this fake sorrowfulness. Don't come around me with this, let me say this because it's the right thing to do. He knows what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, no, you ain't ready. So, because many people still watch me, they may hear this video. Well, let me tell them I'm sorry. Let me tell them doing this. It ain't going to work. Just to let y'all know. So, I don't want people, when you say it on your video, if they come, I'm saying this so those who really God has dealt with and you came back, I'm gonna know it by what you say because I'm gonna be looking at your spirit time you say it. We already proved that when this person come to tell me they sorry and all this, and the next 20 minutes they blasted me on social media. Yeah, but what did I tell them? You ain't sorry. I got a relationship with God. I don't care if nobody don't believe me if I say, hey, you can tell I ain't sorry. You ain't God. Yeah, but I'm closer to God as you gonna get, cause He gonna let me know you ain't sorry. Just like I told that other, you ain't sorry. Well, I'm gonna tell such and such because I tried to apologize to you. Did you show them what you put about me on social media? In the same in the same hour or so that you tried to apologize, did you tell them how you tried to tear me down? Well, I ain't try, you did, but it didn't work because I'm still here. Why am I saying this? Because some of you are actually sorrowful. We gonna extend some amnesty. But if you come to me and you ain't heard God, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna really feel the wrath of God because I don't have time for foolishness. I ain't got time for foolishness. I got something to build around here. And I don't need to hear no emotional outburst. I don't need no representatives calling me. Uh-huh. Now, if you want to get to the front of the line, since you like using emotion, uh, 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 for me to hear your forgiveness, it's gonna cost you 500 billion. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I'll sit there and talk to you for a whole hour for 5 of them. And you got a whole hour to prove to me that you sorry. Now watch this. It ain't even no guarantee. But if you're gonna waste my time, I'm gonna make sure it's worth it if you're gonna waste my time. The Zelle is open. I'm so crazy. I know I am. See, I can say things to people, but I understand God is in the restoring business. And because of Jesus Christ restoring us back to God, I know how to restore people. But what you ain't gonna do is try to manipulate the spirit of restoration. See, forgive and comfort him. See, you got to know that it ain't my job to determine has God forgave them, have have they really repented. It's not my job to determine that. But what is my job? If he say they really sorry, that's the only way you're gonna get comfort from it. That's how I know you forgiven. Because God would tell me, because he already told me, I don't want everybody around you to see. Choose your friends carefully. Because see, I can't get into another bondage situation. The last one cost me 9 years of my life. Anything that got flesh in it, I don't want it. Matter of fact, I don't even want my chicken wings with skin on. You gonna have to take the skin off the chicken wing and just cook the meat. Yeah, you're gonna batter the meat and then cook the wing. I don't want flesh on nothing. Mm. In verse 8, he started teaching on the strategy of Satan. He said, therefore I urge you to reaffirm your love to him. For to this end I also wrote, that I might put you to the test, whether you are obedient in all things. Now whom you forgive anything, I also forgive. For if indeed I have forgiven anything, I have forgiven that one for your sake in the presence of Christ, lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You see what he say in the presence of Christ? See, when he talks about ignorant about it, say not ignorant, he understands, Satan understands the human nature. And he knows some of y'all got a hard heart. He knows some of y'all bitter. He knows some of y'all selfish. He knows some of y'all prideful. So he'll put that in your spirit so you can keep your foot on somebody's neck. Then you want to feed them with the long handled spoon. But the same long handled spoon that you put distance in between people, that's the same long handled spoon that's the distance between you and God. Because he said, forgive 7 times 7. And if that's 100 and what it is, 100, whatever it is, ain't nobody's the 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 the, the went against you 100 and something times, have it? It ain't no. When my son went to jail for what he went through, and I never talked to him, when he got out of jail, why would I bring back up? Well, why did you do this? Why you do that? He already did his time. He already understand who God is. He already understand he made a mistake. So why do I have to take them all over again just because I ain't had the time to put my foot on your neck when it happened? Man, that was the horrible 5 years of my life. I couldn't talk to my boy for 5 years. You know why? Because the system was so crooked. He didn't want nobody to know that he had somebody that cared for him. So every now and then he'll call his mom. But one thing he knew about his dad, when I downloaded that jail app to send him money, he knew daddy. Daddy kept him right. Daddy kept him right. Because watch this, just like God to me, whether I'm wrong or right, God still take care of me. So when people have really been in the presence of God, to understand what they did was really wrong. And God puts that spirit of forgiveness on it. When they come to you, they're not going to come to you and talk about forgiving because it's the right thing to do. You're going to feel that spirit because real, just in case y'all don't know, real forgiveness comes with a spirit, with a weight attached to it. And they're going to lift the bondage off of you. But see, Satan wants to condemn the people that oftentimes we have to punish. Huh? So what Satan does, watch this, he take advantage of it. See, Satan like to take advantage of our mistake. See, watch this. That's why if you get caught cheating, you lie. That's why if you dog people out, you say, I ain't mean that. See, you don't want to take accountability for what you did. That's why I know forgiveness not there. See, watch this. Listen. You can't dog me out, call me any kind of name, say what you want to say, because you in the flesh, and then come back around. I miss you. Hey, you want to go get something to eat? See, watch this. You got to address what you did. And when you address it in the Holy Ghost, then I'll accept it. Y'all got to watch people that treat you any kind of way, but they don't want to not. You made me do that. You made no, it was in you, you heathens. See, that's one of the devices Satan you. That's why people can constantly cuss and people out and talk about them because don't nobody hold them accountable for their action. That's why I keep my mouth closed. I ain't got to go back and forth because I don't want to say nothing that I really don't mean in a fit of anger and it manifests. It's come to life. See, now, in doing those things, those same people, they don't tell the truth about what they said about you. So they leave all the name calling. I called them this and I called them that. And I said this. All they say is, like the ex, he just left me. You see, y'all, listen, common sense, y'all know stuff be deeper than that. But they don't want to tell the truth because they don't want to be accountable for your action, for their action, but they want to make sure that they tell everything you do and then add tax to it. Man, I ain't got no time for nobody like that. Care nothing about it. I don't care nothing about people. I'm trying to tell you. I mean that because people who ain't in the spirit, they stay constantly in the flesh. So I don't care nothing about people, but I love the spirit. So when people come with me the right spirit, we ate boom cool. We, you know, but these church folks, these wannabes, man, I don't care nothing about them. Paul goes on to verse 12. He said, furthermore, when I came to Trias to preach Christ's gospel, and the door was opened to me by the Lord, I had no rest in my spirit because I did not find Titus, my brother. But taking my leave of them, I departed for Macedonia. I just do what God tell me to do. People mad because I had came all around there. People mad because I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I told people, see, that's why you can't listen to me and never kept up with me. I said something about this 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So Paul was saying, I had no rest in my spirit because I did not find Titus, my brother. See, sitting in Atlanta, I had no rest in my spirit because, watch this, I did not find Titus, my brother. See, we got to watch what our spirit lies with. And see, when you understand the depth of what he was saying when he says Titus, my brother, what he means was what he meant, what he was saying, what we trying to say. You got to have a person who not only had your back in the natural, but in the spirit. See, I didn't have nobody around me to say, Brother Hubbard, you depressed. I didn't have nobody around here, me to say, hey, Brother Hubbard, you falling off. Hey, Brother Hubbard, you ain't doing this. That's what he meant. Because you, why you think he sent them out two by two? See, I, you see me alone most of the time, but I'm not a one-man show. I constantly need help. But until the help comes, guess who God uses? Because I understand my direction. He know I'm gonna do what he tell me to do at all costs. At all costs. No matter how I feel about it. Because what we said when we first started, if I'm sorrow for who is that to make me have joy? He gonna give me joy in due time. I didn't want to leave him. I kind of liked it, but my spirit was off balance. I was just lazy, like I am now. But my laziness now is not bondage laziness. It's free laziness because my spirit has to get right back to the point. Okay, now this what we finna do. Man, you can't function in a place that you really can't be the man who you need to be. You can't function in a place where you can't hear God the way you need to him. But then you got people that get upset with you, that call you all kind of filthy and defiled names, that talk down to you because you won't obey God. Man, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for it. Our time short. I don't know how much time God got me on this earth. I want to spend my time making sure I please him than pleasing some woman, pleasing some people. Y'all better make sure you dotting every I and crossing every T. Because I'm here to tell you, God ain't playing in this season.